Hey everybody, and welcome back. I have just finished filming my two-color spiral hat. I hope I did a good enough job for you guys that you can understand what I am trying to explain. I am not really good at explaining and showing how to do patterns like this. So if you have any questions or anything, leave them down in the comments below and I will do my best to answer those questions. So let's get on with the video. Okay, so chain 2, or if you want to do the magic circle, that will be just as adequate. I normally do the magic circle, but I thought I would just do the chain 2 for the purpose of this video. So chain 2, and all of our stitches are going to go in that first stitch. We're going to do 1 single crochet, 2 half double crochet, and 2 double crochet of each of our colors in that first stitch. So 1 single crochet, 2 half double crochets, and 2 double crochets, because we want a total of 10 stitches to start our hat. So I'm just going to lay my second color just to give me enough space here. And I'm going to join that with a slip stitch, which does not count as anything. And then once again, we're going to do 1 single, 2 half doubles, and 2 doubles. 1 single, 2 half doubles, and 2 doubles. And I'm going to pull that main color tight. Of course, make sure my green is also tight. So now, since we have our first 10 stitches, as you would normally do to start a hat, I'm just going to continue on with the color that I started and put 2 double crochets in each of these 5 over here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to mark that last stitch right there with a stitch marker. I'm going to move this stitch marker up to that loop. And then continue on in my last 1, 2, 3, 4 with my 2 double crochets. Okay. I'm going to put my stitch marker in the top of that last double crochet that I did. That's why I prefer the magic circle instead of making the chain 2, because we'll have to weave that in. I actually will just tie it and then I'll keep that closed. So now we're going to continue on. Technically, we have now finished row 2. This was row 1. This is now row 2. So if you're familiar with doing anything in the round, you know that you do 2 stitches and then 1 stitch. So that's what we're going to do all the way around. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, all the way until we get back around to this stitch marker right here. Okay, swap out your stitch marker. And with the second color, we're going to continue on the 2, 1, 2, 1 until we get back around to this stitch right here. I'm going to have to turn my project. I have yarn on each side of my table here, so it keeps getting tangled up. But it's a little easier with 2 than it is with just 1. And if it helps to remember, you're always putting your 2 double crochets in the first set of 2 double crochets on your increase. there is the last for that. I'm going to take the stitch marker and I'm going to put it right here in the top of that last stitch that I just made. And now that we are back around to where we started that increase, it is now 2, 1, 1. So you're going to put 2 double crochets in your first one and then 1 in each of the next 2. Swap these out and you'll continue with the 2, 1, 1 pattern, because you can see we've got 2 and 1, so 2, 1, and 1. Once you get back to this one, you're going to move your stitch marker from here up to there, and you are going to repeat this repeat this process until you have 6 inches. I do mine about 6 inches across because this will stretch, but starting you'll do 2, 1, 2, 3. So you'll do 2 in your first double crochet of your pair, and then 1, 2, 3 for this and this. And for my tension and my stitching, I normally go up to 2 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and for me that is about 6 inches. So how do I measure my hats, or how do I measure how big the circle is? It looks really confusing because you actually have 2 edges. I go from this edge to this edge. So if you can see the numbers on my ruler here going from this edge to this edge is at approximately 4 inches. So going back around one more time and doing it will make it 6 inches. If you go one more time, it makes it 8 inches. Roughly. Because you're adding an inch each time you go around the circle. So continue on with that, and once you get to where you have it about 6 inches across, then all you do is single crochets until you get down to about 7 inches. You just fold your hat over like this. You measure from the top down to 7 inches, and then you will start the brim. I will make a separate video to show you how I do the brims of my hat. So be watching for that. Hopefully it will be out within the next day or so. Okay, I increased, like I said, until I'm going 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. That's 2 in the first one, and then 4 double crochets after that. My piece does measure 6 inches across from point to point. Now what I do is, it doesn't matter, just pick a side, but you always want to mark the stitch on this side, and of course this side, the other side, you're always going to have your stitch marker to keep your yarn from unraveling. So continue on with a single crochet, or not single, double crochet all the way around in every single stitch until you can fold that, and from the top of the hat to down to the bottom measures about 7 inches, and then we will add the brim of the hat in the next video. Okay, once you have your double crochets done to create the body of the hat, I do mine to about 7 inches, which for me that is a total of 14 rows. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and this counts as 14 because, as you see, I have them lined up here, which makes the full length of the hat because we have 2 different colors. So, like I said, if you measure from the top down to the bottom of that, that is 7 inches because this is a 6-inch ruler, so an additional inch here. Once I get to that point, I do a half double crochet. You can do it in either through both loops or through the back loops to give it kind of a ridged effect. And for me, that is 4 rows. So just when you get to this point, you're just going to start right in with a half double crochet. Make sure you mark that stitch like that, so you know where you started and stopped. And when you get those 4 rows done, which should be 1 inch to make this a total of a 8-inch tall hat, then I will show you how I finish this off. So go ahead and do those 4 rows or whatever you need for your gauge to make it a total 8 inches from top to bottom, and I'll show you what I do when I get back to my 2 stitch markers, signifying that I am at the end of those rows, and everything should have the same number of rows if you count them down. Okay, once you get to the point where you have your 4 rows finished and 8 inches from the top to the bottom of one of your sides, don't measure the side that you're not working on, measure the side where your last stitch is, should be 8 inches. What we do next is just super simple. We're going to do this on both sides to finish off the hat. Let me grab my scissors real quick here. I am just going to, since we are doing half double crochet, I'm just going to do a single crochet and then 2 slip stitch. And then pull up finish it off like you normally do any other project. Snip it and go to the other side and do the same thing. We just finished with half double crochets, so in order to get it down, we're going to do a single crochet and 2 slip stitch. finish it off, and then all you have to do is weave in your ends, and you have a 2-color spiral hat made in the round. So I want to thank you guys for joining me in making this project, and I will see you in my next video.